I want all of my reviews to enhance your enjoyment of reading. I want to maybe share with you a book that you've not heard of before, or wouldn't have considered trying, but maybe presented in a way that intrigues you. And yeah, I want to share good books and good reading with folks. So in that vein, there will never be any spoilers in any of my videos. And if I decide to change that for any reason, you will have ample warning. There will be no spoilers in this review of Velocity Weapon by Megan O'Keefe.
Sunrise found Jules beaten down and sweating, the peachy, simulated light glaring at her reproachfully through the trees of the grotto's only park. She couldn't have gone home during the night. The thought of walking into their converted loft and finding Harlan up and waiting twisted her stomach to hell and back. So she'd spent the night walking, stalking more accurately, casing known runner tracks, slinking from show to shadow, watching the dealers of the black markets ply their trades in the alleys.
I want you to enjoy this book more than I did. And my enjoyment was undercut by my expectations going in. And I believe that those expectations are due to the title. Velocity Weapon, I think you can already tell, conjures the idea of a particular sort of book. And I did not find this to be that. Velocity Weapon makes me think of Terminal Velocity. Did you ever see that movie? It opens, just to like set the scene a little bit, with Charlie Sheen illegally skydiving into a suburban neighborhood for a birthday party, wearing jeans with plastic fake butt cheeks sticking out of them. This book is not like that. Velocity Weapon is what No Effect Gloss, I'm still complaining about that book, should have been titled. Something that was action-packed and all about spectacle and not about substance. Velocity Weapon sounds like it's a movie.
Coming this summer, Shia is Velocity Weapon.
But it's not. Velocity Weapon is patient. It reminded me of The Expanse, or a memory called Empire. Both of which, well, one is a book, one is a series, but both of which I very much enjoyed and highly recommend. So that's high praise. But Velocity Weapon is a sort of less violent, less graphic version of The Expanse. And that's the expectation that I think you should have going into it. So what is Velocity Weapon? Well, it's outer space science fiction. We're flying around on spaceships. There's artificial intelligences. The physics are grounded in what we know, with some, little minor caveats to explain how we're out amongst the stars flying around. It doesn't, I think, use the science as much as The Expanse does. I think The Expanse really puts the science at the forefront, and this does not do that. I'm just sort of explaining that it is realistic, at least to the same degree that The Expanse is. Velocity Weapon is a multiple perspective story. We look through the perspectives of different characters in different timelines, and the events in those timelines sort of interact with each other. One storyline starts as a very methodical survival story. Another is pretty much all political machinations and dealings. And a third is kind of a crime thriller. But even those evolve and mix with other genres, for example, romance being mixed in as well. It's kind of a diverse story. It's well written, and the author does a good job getting into her characters' heads. I found the story to start off slow. But once it started twisting and turning, I was hooked. All right, I'm going to say a little bit more, but first I'm going to ask for your forgiveness. There's going to be a brief advertisement break, so here's a word from our sponsors.
If you're a fan of fresh, fast-paced science fiction, you owe it to yourself to check out Crew of Exiles. Here's what the critics are saying. A fast-paced story with an emotional draw, where quests for restoration and survival lead to an afterlife that simmers with new possibilities. Our heroes are also wonderfully unique and lovable, a sort of Dorothy, Scarecrow, Tin Man, Lion, crew of misfits united by a common purpose. Crew of Exiles, available from all major online retailers.
All right, and we're back. Thank you for your patience there. I know advertisements can be annoying. I actually think that many folks should not listen to this last part. This is going to be me complaining about Velocity Weapon and the things that I did not like about it. So if you already are set on the idea of a book series, and it is a series, by the way, this is just the first of a few, that is very similar to The Expanse, but mixes in some fun tropiness. It's a little bit more playful and lighthearted. It's less graphic. It's less violent. Not that it's not a little bit violent and graphic in parts. If that sounds amazing to you, like, hey, it's The Expanse, we got some more playfulness, we got some more romance, things like that, then please read this book. It is heckin' solid. All right? But if instead you'd like to hear me complain more about it, then you can watch the rest of this video. All right, so here's your last chance. All right, now I'm going to complain. Any story that has multiple perspectives, any story that I've ever read, always has a perspective that you are way less interested in reading than the other perspectives. For Velocity Weapon, it's Baran, I think is how you pronounce his name. He's the political machinations stuff. And I just found his character to be boring, to be obnoxiously morally upright. He makes these sort of dramatic gestures that I thought felt very sort of dumbly heroic. Not heroic in an interesting way, but just like partly it was contrived, partly it like really needed to happen to set up things in the other storylines. And I always wanted to skip his sections, right? And it's like about a third of the book because there's basically 3 perspectives in it. Another thing that annoyed me is the fact that it's a series. I really wish there were more standalones. I love standalone novels. And the ending to this one, while it did resolve and wrap up many plot lines, also left a bunch of them, or not left them unresolved. It actually was setting up a bunch of new plot lines right towards the end, presumably for the next book, but I'm not going to read the next book. This was just a one-off for me. I think the Expanse, I like The Expanse better. I just do. I was a little surprised by that fact. I love playfulness. I wish books were less serious. In fact, the cynicism in The Expanse is probably my least favorite thing about it. Tell me, in the comments if you think, no, The Expanse is like really optimistic. But like, are we reading the same Expanse? But I digress. So Velocity Weapon, it's good. It's real solid. It's real good. It didn't resonate with me, but maybe it will with you. Let me know in the comments if you disagree. And let me know if you know of any really fun sci-fi books that sort of have maybe the promise of the title Velocity Weapon. I would love to see that action-packed thing that actually does the heart well, that does the character emotion well, and I think The Expanse, has some of that, and it's one of the reasons I really like it. But I've not found it quite yet. I'm still looking. So maybe let me know. All right, thank you, folks. Have a good one. Bye.